Shabbat Shalom Aleichem, and welcome to Black Gods at Yahweh Media. In the power of, the glory of, the good of YHWH, Yahweh. In the name of YHWH, Beit Nun Sofit, YHWH, Yahweh ben Yahweh. You can see the title of this video and suspect where I might be going. Before we get into the law, we must get into reality. 99.9% of our people who are suffering within the wrath of Jacob's trouble worships a God that does not belong to them. If your God is European Jesus or Allah, then the people who look like your God have dominion over you. They can do whatever they want to do to you, such as kill you whenever they feel like it. If you worship European Jesus or any other false god, then you belong to them. So they can end your life whenever they want to. All black Christian pastors have blood on their hands because they have turned you from the law, and thus there is no protection. None whatsoever. The God of the so-called African American is the good, great, and terrible black God Yahweh of Revelations 1:13 through 15. Let's go see. Revelations 1:13, and in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt around the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were like white wool. Who has hair like white wool? A black man of advanced age, as white as snow. His eyes were as a flame of blue fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Now, I've never met a person whose feet is like burnt brass, which is dark skin, as if burnt in a furnace, and the rest of their skin is something different. And his voice as the sound of many waters. That is your God. For hundreds of years, you have been oppressed, murdered, raped by the children of Cain, the Europeans. The God of the Europeans that you black Christians have on your wall obviously loves the people who look like him more than you. I'm going to say that again. The God of the Europeans that you black Christians have on your wall, obviously he loves the people who look like him more than you. Why else would he allow them to kill you so much? Could it be that you are doing something terribly wrong concerning your Creator? The so-called African American are the children of the Most High God of Israel, and they are commanded to do something. Let's get into it. We're going to go to Matthew 5:17 through 19. Matthew 5:17 through 19. Think not that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Now let's take a look at this word fulfill. This is the word that Christians use to say, aha, see, we're under grace now. There is no more law. However, what have we learned about the Bible? Here a little, there a little, line upon line, verse upon verse. 5:18. Verily, I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Now we're going to get into the real truth. Now, Matthew 5 and 19 is something that everyone looks over. And it's one of the most important parts that connects 5 and 17 together. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, we're still talking about the laws, statutes, and commandments, and shall teach men so. Now, who are the ones that teach men not to follow the commandments? We're not talking about the 10 commandments. We're in the laws, statutes, and commandments. It is these black Christian pastors. He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Hold on, we got to read that again. Matthew 5 and 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Which one do you want to be? You want to be called least, or you want to be called great? Which one do you want to be? You want to be called least, or you want to be called great? This is common sense. This isn't hard. Yahweh's laws are not tedious and they are not confusing. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. I suggest you read all of Deuteronomy 28 when you have time. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord YHWH, thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. You got that? Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, YHWH, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now we're going to move down to Deuteronomy 28 and 25, because this is where the incident happened in Buffalo, New York, and it's happened all throughout our generations in the hills of North America. Deuteronomy 28 and 25. The Lord thy God, Yahweh, shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies, to be smitten, to be stricken down, to be struck down before thy enemies, such as the way we are always murdered by race soldiers in the street. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. All you do is pray to European Jesus, cry, ask for forgiveness, forgive thy enemies, plead and beg a system that does nothing for you, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. So everywhere you go and you try to set up shop, you try to be independent and self-sufficient and build nations and build communities. Everywhere you go, you're removed from the land. There was just a program not too long ago that talked about how many of our ancestors from slavery, they got their land and their possessions stolen from them. And people are trying to go to court to get that money back and that land back. So you're removed from all the kingdoms with nothing. Now, we're going to do a compare and contrast and analysis. A compare and contrast. I've done this before, and I'm going to do it again. Here you see, these are Hebrew Israelites who are teaching the law on the street. Once again, they got the name wrong and they got the son wrong. They curse people out. They call the European the devil, yet no race soldier has ever gunned them down in the streets. They don't even get arrested. Why? Let's go back to Matthew 5 and 19. Let's go back to Matthew 5:19. We got to go back and we got to look at it again in case for some reason you missed it. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do them and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. They got the name wrong and they got the son wrong. If you are considered good in the kingdom of heaven, then you have a place above everyone else and you have protection just for teaching the law. They got a life expectancy that is greater than any black Christian, black Muslim, black atheist, or New Age religious fool. With that being said, I don't know how much plainer I can make this video. You want to be healed? You want to be protected? You want to be prosperous? Turn back to the good, great, and terrible black God, Yahweh, his son of our time, Yahweh ben Yahweh, and keep and teach the law. You can do this digitally or you can do this in person. Turn away from these false prophets and black Christian pastors. They have turned you away from the law and they have blood on their hands. This is Black Gods of Yahweh Media. Until the next video. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Hallelujah, Yahweh ben Yahweh.